Good morning, traders. I'm Joel Alconin, and welcome to my solo edition of Pre-Market Info. Sorry I missed yesterday's action in the markets. Back again today here. The S&Ps are showing continued weakness here in the pre-market. We are now looking at the September contract as the June contract has rolled over in the futures market. Let's keep an eye on that overnight low in the September contract. We hit 1591.75. The SPUs did hit the 1591 level, the 5-day low last Thursday. So major area of support there to keep an eye on in the September contract. Coming back on the upside here. The close at 1604 should be a good target on the long side if you're trying to scoop things up off the open. Moving on to the gold market. Gold did show a little strength yesterday. Gold acted like gold's supposed to act when you have a weak market. It's supposed to be a defensive issue. Gold had a nice rally yesterday. Couldn't quite get back into that 1400 handle. Made a high at 1394. That matches yesterday or today's high at 1394.40. So major resistance in gold at 1394. We just got a kind of a slow decline here. Don't see any major support until yesterday's low at 1372.70, but just kind of a slow decline here. Buyers may resurface here at this 1380 level, especially with some continued weakness in the market. Taking a look at the crude market real quickly here before we move on to the equities. Crude is just toying with that $96 level. Snuck above it again yesterday at 96.45. You had a couple highs at the 96.30 handle, but just seems to be allergic to that level. Declined after it hit it yesterday. Made a low at 95.02 so far in the session. Below that 95.02 low. We're looking at Wednesday's low at 94.46, but pretty defined trading range here in the crude market. Moving on to some earnings we had after the close. Philip Van Heusen had some good numbers. They were 191 versus 135. They guided higher for the second quarter and reaffirmed a full year guidance. So this stock is just ignoring the market here. Currently trading up 828 in the pre-market. You made a high at 120.45 here. You made that after hours, after the news was released. 120.50 has been the high. Since making that high, it's pulled back to the $119 level. 119.11. Just hit that on the last 15-minute bar. So if you're holding on this from the long side, below 119, you've had a lot of room to fill down to yesterday's range. Yesterday's high was 112.20, and that was also a double top from Thursday. So a lot of real estate underneath 119, and then if you look at the dailies here, this stock had several highs back in middle of May from 120.38 to 120.58. So if you're looking to exit along here in Philip Van Heusen with a negative market, that 120.50 level should be an excellent resistance. Moving on to Five Below, symbol FIVE here. Announced some good numbers. They beat the street by a penny, 5 cents versus 4 cents. Getting a nice pop in the pre-market here. Let's identify the pre-market high. Boy, way up at 38.50, and it's kind of come down off that level, now finding some minor resistance on the intraday chart here at 37. The stock has had some problems here over the last couple weeks, falling from just under 41 to 35. Coming back on the upside here. You do have a couple highs just above 37. You had a high at 37.07. That was just 2 days ago. Keep an eye on that as a potential resistance point. And then after that, it's closer to the $38 level at 37.91. Safeway came out with some real good news after the close here. They're selling their Canadian operations for $4 billion. They're paying back debt. They're buying back stock. Nothing but good news here for Safeway. That initial surge with the good news took it to 33.18, but I think investors are kind of reevaluating how good that will be. The stock has declined to the $28 level. Made a recent low this morning at 27.60. Looking at this stock longer term, you did have major resistance coming up here at 28.42. So that's more of a trading parameter if you're looking to enter this thing. You also can't ignore the volume in this stock. It's traded 5 million shares so far in the after hours in the pre-market. So looking at 28.42 as a potential resistance level. That 33 number that we hit in the pre-market just seemed to be a fat finger. So I'm not sure if that's going to come into play during today's session. J.C. Penney here, we're noting this stock because there's been a lot of put action in this stock over the last couple days. Non-believers in the rally that stalled just under the $20 level. Taking a look at the pre-market activity for J.C. Penney, kind of found a bottom here just after the close here at the $17.50 level. Tight range yesterday in the stock, 1766 was the low, closed at 76.80. I think if we take out that 1766 level, you could be heading for the lower 17s. 1720 was your low on May 9th. Have some ratings changes here. SocGen is upping BlackBerry from a sell to a buy. That stock hasn't been in the news too much lately. I think SocGen just must be looking here at a potential bottoming formation between 1337 and 1370. You've had 5, 6, 7 lows in that area. So if you put faith in this upgraded SocGen here, you would not like to see it trade below the 1340 level. Looking at the pre-market activity, the stock did spike up towards the $14 level, made a high at $13.99. And looking at the dailies, you had a couple tops over the $14 level. Also, 1409, 1413 should be major resistance here in BlackBerry. Too bad Jake's not on because his favorite stock to make fun of, Carnival Cruise Lines, was upped by Nummus from an add to a buy here. It's getting a little pop in the pre-market. Let's take a look at the pre-market activity. It's just ticking 32.90. 25,000 shares have traded. Not a lot of activity. Looking at the daily chart, though, for Carnival Cruise Lines, it's trying to fill a gap up here that you have to the 33.09 level. So that should act as a minor resistance. And then above that 33.09 level, you have a couple tops at 33.55 and 33.74. But doesn't look like the upgrade is going to take Carnival Cruise Lines anywhere near those levels. Moving on to the big boys, Goldman Sachs here, upgrading International Paper from a neutral to a conviction buy. Target is 50 to 55. That stock, taking a look at the pre-market activity, spotty trades here near the $45 level. 44.87 has been high, but not a lot of shares have traded. If you're looking to play this Goldman lift here, you did have a high a few days ago at 45.88 and 45.90. Those were Monday and Wednesday's lows. That's still a buck away from here, so I still see major resistance here at the $45 level for International Paper. Goldman is also active here in the waste companies, the trash companies. They're trashing them. They downgraded Republic Services Group from a conviction buy to a buy. That's a symbol RSG. Taking a look at the chart in that, not a lot of activity in the pre-market. Actually, no volume has really traded in this. If you're looking for follow through here on the Goldman Sachs downgrade, you had 33.57. That was yesterday's low. A few cents above that. Below that, another minor resistance point at 33.77. But the major support comes in at 32.81, and that was the low on June 6th. Taking a look at the waste management, Goldman took them from a buy to a neutral. That's getting a little more action here in the pre-market, a little bit more heavily traded stock. Not a lot. Few shares traded at 39.40. Looking at the daily chart, though, major support in this thing. When we made the low last Thursday in the market, when the market had its big rebound, the lat low was 38.82. We're 60 cents away from that. You also had a low at 38.78 on April 24th. So the 38.80 level should be major support here, at least on the first bounce in waste management. Just going back to the overall market here, noted, as I said earlier, that the S&Ps are now trading in the September contract, and overnight, during the overnight carnage in the September contract, the S&Ps did get down to 1591.75, 3 ticks away from the low of the move last Thursday at 1591. We are 10 points away from that level, so folks, if we do get back in that area, that's going to act as a major support. Coming back on the upside here, we're trying to get back to the close. I would use that as a minor resistance number. Have to look at the September contract here. You had your close at 1604. The low was right there at 1603.50. So we're looking at that as our first resistance point. Above that, you really get a lot of air in the market, kind of similar to the way that it came crashing down yesterday. Well, sorry for the abbreviated version of pre-market info this morning. We'll be back with you tomorrow.